Hello student, welcome. This lecture is for class 10th. This is the second part of the second chapter, that is control and coordination. First part that I already uploaded, you can watch from that. In that first part we have already discussed about the phytohormones and all the things. Here we use some phytohormones in the experiments also. So let's begin. The topics that we are going to cover here, that is plant movement, tropism. There are different types of tropism. First is phototropism, geotropism, chemotropism. One is most important, that is not mentioned here, that is hydrotropism. Hydrotropism is most important and related to some questions. Now here is plant movement. As you see in many plants have moved from where the sunlight is there. It means stimulus. Okay, they can move from through the stimulus. Movement in higher plants are in the form of bending, twisting or elongation of certain part. The movement are in response to a stimulus, that I already told. That is stimulus, it means response. The stimulus may be external or internal. External means external. Suppose that in Mimosa pudica it means touch me not plant. If you touch it, it means external stimulus that we will give, so it can become sting it. But the movement of pollen grain, okay, or the movement of root, that is internal. These movement okay, are dependent or independent to the growth of the plant. Okay, dependent or independent, like the plant move toward the sunlight, that is the growth dependent movement. It means growth will be take place. But in touch me not plant there is no growth, but movement of plant is there, so that is growth independent. The movement of curvature may be growth movement or variation movement. Okay, so these are some points about the plant movement. Okay, you see that there are so many types are there. Number one is Chemotropism. Chemo means touch. Just like in climbers, it means climbing plant. We will give a support. Through that support, plant will be easily move towards it. Second one is Hydrotropism. It means the root of the plant move toward the water. Phototropism, it means sunlight, movement of plant toward the direction of sunlight. Geotropism, that is earth. It means stimulus are come from the earth. Chemotropism, it means chemical movement. Okay, now first heading, that is main important, that is tropism. The movement of plant in the direction of stimulus or away from it is known as tropism. Okay, first thing, it is growth dependent process. It means growth will be take place in that. Movement of stimulus or away. First thing that I told you, listen it very carefully. You see plant. If you saw a plant, the plant part which are present above the surface of the soil is called shoot system, and which are present just below the soil, that is called as root system. Okay, so be in mind, because this will become in so many steps. Okay, number one, that is phototropism. As it is named, photo, that is light. Which light? That is sunlight. Tropism means response or stimulus. Okay, any bending of plant towards the direction of sunlight, okay, is called as what? Phototropism. It is unidirectional. It means it will be take place in the direction of sun, so it is unidirectional. Here shoot will give positive response and root will give negative response. Auxin will play an important role. Auxin, that I already told, in phytohormone, that is auxin, which is chemically called as IAA, that is indole 3 acetic acid. Okay, here auxin, so that is apical dominance, apical dominance, that I already told it, apical dominance. So auxin play a very important role in phototropism. Okay, phototropism is a plant response to the sun. It is achieved by the action of auxin. Auxin produced in the apical meristem. Apical meristem, it means tip of the plant. Okay, clear? First thing, there are so many things we are here, but the most important thing, that is experiment. Here in phototropism, the experiment is most important, because so many examination, in alternate examination, board examination, the experiment will come. Okay, so the experiment is very simple. The object is what? Object, if you want to write the object, it means, or aim. The aim you have to write to study the response of plant to light, that is phototropism. Requirement or what? Two potted plant we have to require. What are the procedure or method? Procedure or method is very simple. Take two potted plant, keep one potted plant in the open so that it receive the sunlight coming from all side. Okay, one plant you have to kept openly, from where all direction, from where the sunlight will come from the all direction. And second one you have to kept in a room near the window, such a way that sunlight come from the one side. Okay, and left it both the plant for some days. Okay, after some day you saw that observation is there. The first plant that we will kept in the open area, from where the all the direction the sunlight will come, it will be moved straight. However, the second plant, which was kept in a room which I received a light from one side, it will be bent towards the light. So this one is the observation. If we saw the conclusion, the movement of plant is caused by the action of auxin hormone. The auxin hormone formed by the meristematic tissue at the tip of the stem. Meristematic tissue, it means what? That is now there are so many points that related to the auxin. Auxin is spread uniformly down the stem in plant kept in open and receiving sunlight from above. Due to the presence of auxin equally on the both side, the stem grow up straight because both the side of a stem show equal growth at the same place. Second one, in the second plant is receiving light only from one side, through the window. In this case, the auxin hormone move from tip of the stem to be concentrated more of the side not receiving light, that is the side of the stem away from the light. Due to the presence of more auxin hormone, the steady side of the stem grow faster than the side of the stem receiving light. Okay, so in this case, the shoot, it means shoot system, tip of the shoot will give positive response towards the light, phototropism, and root will give the negative tropism. Okay, now second one is geotropism. As it is named, geo means earth, tropism means stimulus, and the stimulus which are done by the gravity or the earth is called as what? Geotropism. It is also a growth dependent process. Here the shoot system will give negative geotropism and root system will give positive geotropism. Okay, positive and negative, that you all clear. Here the downward movement of root is response to the gravitational force. Here one more experiment is there. Experiment is most important. Here the activities, number first, that is aim. We have to aim is what? To study the response of plant towards gravity or to gravity or geotropism. Okay. Requirement. What are the requirement? One potted plant. Okay. One transparent glass jar. Okay. Now come to the methods or procedure. First, keep the potted plant growing in a transparent glass jar straight in the ground. Observe that its stem is growing upward and its roots are growing downward. Clear? Now place this potted plant horizontally, okay, on its side. Observe the position of the growing stem and the root. Keep the plant in the position for few days. After few days you will observe that when you put the potted plant horizontally on its side of the ground, we find that the growing of stem and the growing of root are parallel to the ground. After few days, we find that the stem of this plant has bent upward away from the earth, that is negative geotropism, and the root of the plant has bent downward towards the earth, that is positive geotropism. This experiment confirms response of plant to gravity, it means geotropism. The main function of the root of the plant are, because the function will definitely come in the examination, function of root, these provide fix of the plant to the substratum, it means to the earth. These provide water and minerals from the soil. Root of the plant show positive geotropism, but it means that is they grow downward to the gravity. The main function of the stem of the plant is to expose leaf to the maximum sunlight. Therefore, the stem of shoot of a plant always grow up away the pull of gravity, that is so negative geotropism. Okay. Now next one is chemotropism. As it is named, chemo, it means chemical, tropism means response. Okay. The main thing is that movement due to chemical stimulus. As you can see in class 7 that you have to know about the pollen grain, pollen tube and stigma and all the things. So the movement of pollen grain in the pollen tube, in movement of pollen tube in the female part of style, that is basically a chemotropism. Basically it was what? Chemotropism. Okay. Here one more experiment is there. To the study of response plant to chemical explanation, the response of plant part to the chemical stimulus is explained as, if you will see the experimentally, so many pollen grains are dusted on the stigma of the plant, but only one will be functional. All are become destroyed. Okay. That functional pollen grain produce a pollen tube, and that pollen tube will be enter in the style, and later it will be fused to the ovule by to the formation of different seed or endosperm or whatever is that is another thing. Okay, and later it will be developed into the flower. Okay, so till fertilization, till to the fertilization there is a chemical secretion. It means all things are based on the chemicals. Okay, the response of pollen grain, that is the growth of pollen tube to surgical substance, chemical stimulus secreted by the stigma. Okay, so the stigma is allow which pollen tube or which pollen grain will be functional and create a pollen tube. So here all things are depend on the chemicals. Okay, so experiments are very easy, but in alternate examination one of the experiment will definitely come. One, that is hydrotropism. Later we will discuss about that, because detail we will I told you in the detail about hydrotropism, because two experiment that I will given on that, two experiment. In one, that is one experiment is basically based, both the experiment are basically based on your regular activities or everyday life activities. Okay, so some questions related to these topics. What is the role of auxin in the phototropism? What is hydrotropism? Hydro means water, tropism means response, that is stimulus. Okay, if we saw a plant, the shoot system will give negative response, but the root system will give positive response. Okay, so basically hydrotropism. So hydrotropism through experiment, later we will discuss about that. If you want to write this question, if you will write, so geotropism, through experiment, you write it. What is tropism? Because later we will discuss about the nestic movement, so I will give you one question, that is what is difference between tropism and nestic movement. So positive and negative response of all tropism. Okay, so these are some question related to these topics.